Omniscient Reader, chapter 175. Last chapter. What did we touch on last chapter? Last chapter was Doksha and Soo-young finally got to talk to each other. What was it? Hyung-sung is being harassed by by Soo-young's like naked copy, shadow clone copies. There was, what are they called? The Pinkies. That's what they were called. Yeah, the Pinkies. They, a bunch of men masquerading as younger women, trying to trick people, take advantage of them. We bodied all of them except for one, because Doksha's like, hey, we need this one. So we had that, and is there anything pressing? What is it called? The stuff that you need in order to go to the next floor. But Jungyak took all of Soo-young's, so now they have to go collect more. I forgot the name of it. Proofs. There you go. I'm like, I couldn't think of it. He took the proofs and he went up with his sister to the next floor. And that's pretty much it. Like, as far as like the bare bones of what we touched on last chapter. So let's hop in. 175. When are you going to let him go, by the way? That's sexual harassment. Oh, I almost forgot. Who cares? They're not even my real naked body. Hyung-sung Lee is shaking in fear. Oh no. Oh, you alright? Are you alright, Hyung-sung? Doksha, what are you doing here? Am I dead too? That's right, he hasn't seen him. Am I dead too? Steel Blade's weakness is woman. Okay. I know that it says so in TWSA, but this is... Hyung-sung might end up walking the eunuch's path this round if I'm not careful. That's funny. Oh my goodness. Excuse me. Would it be okay if I leave? No, it wouldn't. What is your name? It's Ina Sale. What is your real name? What is your real name? Young Paul Kim. Young Paul Kim of the Pinkies. Looks like I found the right one. Now, this has to be mentioned. Soo-young was able to recall who 3 of the 4 were and got to Young Paul. He got to him and was like, I don't know who you are, but guilty by association, and went to kill him before Doksha stopped. Oh man, that's funny. I think it's like kind of crazy that you look at this face, and they look similar. Weirdly enough, you rearrange some stuff, you shuffle some stuff around, and I can see it. All right, Dark Castle Part 4. Why did you decide to spare him? I thought the Pinkies were bad people. Jungyak took everything. Not yet, but they were going to be later on. And if you've read the novel, you should know that the Pinkies are actually a trio. Okay. That man died before they became notorious villains. I don't know why I read it like that. That man died before they became notorious villains. Young Paul. I don't know how to say it. Young Paul Kim is a good-natured person by default. That's why he was the first to die among the Pinkies. I'm sorry, but what are you talking about? Keep your mouth shut, old man. Keep your mouth shut, old man. Young Paul actually hasn't killed anyone to survive up to this point. Not even during the first scenario. He accidentally stepped on an ant and survived. Wow. And that's where I got the idea of killing insects. Wow. Okay. Got the idea. Interesting. I'm glad that we were able to get an explanation and get that's some insight into Doksha from the beginning of the series and what he was actually looking. I like that. Okay. So, what are you going to do now? Beat the scenario. What else? You know what this scenario has in store for us, right? It's the last scenario before the liberation of Soul Dome. The ninth scenario, Dark Castle. I just like the vibe that this thing gives off, how it just looks. As you already know, the first floor is a piece of cake. Yeah, recalling that tiny thing. As you already know, the first floor is a piece of cake. The real test begins at the second floor. There was more than enough despair looming over Soul. But there still weren't enough stories. He's still out. There never are enough stories. The Dokubi always long for greater despair, and the constellations still want more sensational stories. That just looks like hell. Looks terrible. That is the rule that governs this world. How much more cliched can you get? Regressors, returnees, reincarnators, and now we're getting demons? That's rich coming from someone who plagiarized. Excuse me. Hey, how many times must I tell you that I didn't? Su-young, if you were the author of TWSA, I don't write trash like that. Just supposing you were, if you are the author of TWSA, why do you think you would create? Well, hold on. Why do you think you would create a world like this? Not created. Slight pause. How am I supposed to know? Slight pause. How am I supposed to know? A top class author like myself would never know what a third rate author one is thinking. Right. Was I an idiot? I was an idiot for asking her. I actually have a question for you. What? Ooh, serious look. Caught off guard by the serious look. I can't use Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint right now, but I know what Su-young is asking me right now. You already know how this world ends, don't you? No, okay. Shut up. Why do you think these scenarios exist? He's changing the subject. What purpose does this world have? Maybe the scenarios. That's a cool looking panel. This is a really cool panel. This is a really cool panel. He doesn't know. However it ends, it peeved him, but he doesn't know. Why do scenarios exist? This is a question that numerous beings of the star stream have asked at least once in the countless years they've existed. I've asked. But they all had different answers. For example, the returnee Kyrios Rodgrame, still don't know how to say his last name, said this: because the universe would be a lonely place without it. Constellation Queen of the Darkest Spring answers with another question. Are you asking me why food exists? And the Demon King Asmodeus gave the following answer. It is a small destruction that exists to prevent a bigger one. Their answers found somewhat romantic and even philosophical to a certain point. However, romance and philosophy are nothing but a luxury that only the well-off can afford. Therefore, this is what a scenario meant. To the demon Earl Tentasio? Am I saying that right? Tentasio, who sat in the Abyss Plains on the second floor of Dark Castle. This is the second floor of the Dark Castle. What? Whatever. How annoying. Pretty cool design. I'm sick and tired of this. Damn it. Had it not been for that darn Dokkaebi suggestion. Don't you want to become the 73rd Demon King? Who's this hooded Dokkaebi? In rags. I can become a Demon King? The ultimate dream for all demons. To become a Demon King. I could never fill the gap, no matter how many lower tier demons I consumed. What you're lacking isn't strength. What you lack are stories. What do you mean? You'll get it once you enter a scenario. And since then, I've been stuck here in Dark Castle, killing anyone or anything that dared to enter. For 190, that's a good chunk of time, 194 years. I became one of the 10 strongest demons on the second floor. But this isn't enough to move me up to the third floor. The third floor, where lies the essence of the Demon King. Just earning coins and gaining strength is not enough. I need to climb to the top in these planes. Goodness gracious. Get me back down there. Damn it. I started thinking about freaking Tower of God. I don't know why. All of this just feels like Tower of God stuff. I need to climb to the top in these planes. The most powerful beings on the second floor didn't get there because of their strengths. What I lack is Constellation Lady of the Sleeping Brocade wants you to keep going. Curious to know about your backstory. Backstory? Those bastards. Do you think I'm some kind of character in a video game? But seeing how a constellation has started taking an interest in me, there must be some insects who have managed to get past the first floor of Dark Castle. Oh no, I hope they don't become fodder for this guy. Where are we? Who are you? Are you a guide? That's the first mistake. A guide? Sure. I'll tell you about this place. The second floor of Dark Castle is where only the fittest survive. Only those who prove their power and worth can move on to the next floor. It's simple, isn't it? If you need any further explanations, raise your hand. Oh, damn. Generic guy with a headband. I'm sorry. What do you mean by proving your strength? How can... Yeah. I'm sorry, man. This is how you do it. What? Oh, wow. Damn it. I knew it was a trap. Protect Her Majesty. Oh, boy. Constellation Lady of the Sebum Brocade. Try it again. Startled. Welcome, insects. Story insect genocide has begun. Welcome, insects, to the second floor of Dark Castle. This is where the fun begins. If I'm not mistaken, is this the first time that we've seen this pop-up happen for someone that is not Doksha? It's the first time, right? Interesting. What's this guy's name again? Completely forgot it. Earl Tentasio. What a name. What a name. Earl Tentasio. What a name. Alright, the novel made it sound like the floors were actual floors, not Tower Manwa type floor. That's what I thought too. Because you get a look of this castle, right? And you go in the first floor of the castle is the first floor of a castle is the first floor of the castle. You get the stained glass windows, all that. We're looking through it. We can see outside. And then it's like the second floor. Earl's a title. Okay. Thank you. Earl is a title. I know what an Earl is. I know what it is. I know what an Earl is. Tentasio. I'm like, Earl Tentasio. I'm like, what a name. But it's a title. Okay. Earl Tentasio. I kind of want to like skim through this again. Because I'm curious in the perspective change. This is, how often have we changed perspectives like this? Where the whole second half of this chapter is just strictly from his point of view. Again, we got his backstory, even though he was like, backstory, am I in a freaking video game? Stuff like that, but we got it a little bit. So to go through this, like usually we'll get like our spotlights, but this, it feels like we are experiencing the story from Tentasio's point of view. Like it was like a whole like, all right, we're gonna start a tiny little arc, and it's gonna be from this guy's point of view. That's what it feels like, anyways. I remember being confused when they said there were 72 Demon Kings. I'm used to only being one Demon King. Gotcha. I like this. I like the design, though. I will say that. I like the design. Yeah, but it's interesting, especially getting this. The story Insect Genocide has begun. Also, it's like I'm thinking out loud when I'm thinking how Doksha, before we switch perspectives and stuff, where he's like going through, like, I want to go back up and look at that too, what he was talking about whenever they're having their conversation. But he was like, there's not enough stories. He's like, there's never enough stories. And then we switch perspectives and we get to Tentasio, and Tentasio's going through the same thing where Tentasio's stuck on the second floor. And it's not necessarily strength that's holding him back, because he's wiping everything that comes near him. Anything that gets in his vicinity, he's wiping it. He's been wiping it damn near 200 years. He's just struggling with basically stories. He's struggling with gaining traction, so to speak. But now he has a constellation that's interested in him, or taken an interest in him, which has kind of spurned him on to get up and go move. Because he's like, if someone's taking interest in me, then someone must be nearby. And sure enough, someone pops up. So I think it's to get into this dark castle scenario, and you have two beings, one who is Tentasio is not yet a demon king. Tentasio is on his way to becoming a demon king, right? Like, if he gets to the third floor and stuff, he'll be able to take that mantle. You'll become the 73rd demon king. But he's not there yet, because he's still technically an earl. And how we have Tentasio experiencing that and trying to get to the title of demon king. But then on the flip side, you have Doksha, who is a constellation, but he still doesn't have a name. He still needs to complete his 5th story, right? That's ongoing. He needs to complete that. And why not have that, what is it called? Juxtaposition between the two of them? Still got a long ways to go. He's at least on the road. He might not be close. That's true. He might not be close, but he's on the road there. He's got a lot to do. So it's just these two beings that aren't quite lowly individuals participating in the scenarios, but are both on a path to something. For Tentasio, it might be a demon king. It might be something else. We don't know. For Doksha, we don't know what that boy's thinking. So it's just to get them both comparing it. And I think why I'm really like keying in on it is because of the perspective change. It's the reason why I'm really keying in on it. And also, I wanted to read through this again really quick. Why do scenarios exist? This is a question that the numerous beings of the Starstream have asked at least once in the countless years they've existed. But they all had different answers, which is to be expected from people from different geographical locations and different upbringings and different beliefs, all that stuff. Everyone's going to have a different viewpoint. For example, the returning Heyo said this: because the universe would be a lonely place without it. I can see that. Persephone says, are you asking me why food exists? It's basically like, well, if the Starstream didn't exist, and if these scenarios didn't exist, then what would be our sustenance in a way? How would we all survive if not for these scenarios allowing us to interact and do all these things? And then Asmodeus. Now, Asmodeus is someone we have not met yet. No, Asmodeus is probably a demon king from TWSA that Doksha just knows, right? And he's just referencing what Asmodeus has said about the scenarios. We haven't met any demon kings out. That's right. Okay, interesting. That will pull. We're pulling quotes from characters we haven't met yet in the story. It's okay. It's a small destruction that exists to prevent a bigger one. And I know there is a lot of people. It's a small destruction that exists to prevent a bigger one. depending on your point of view, a situation like that is always tough for some people because hypothetically, let's say that there could be some cataclysm that might happen, but to stop this cataclysm that would be super destructive and wipe X amount of people out, you could do something cataclysmic. I don't. It's something that I'm trying not to be specific. There's so much going on in the world right now. It could be like it's something that could be widespread, right? Let's just say I'll use the continental United States could collapse upon itself and be destroyed if something happens. But if we elect one state to just be destroyed, it'll save the whole thing. Some people are going to be like, screw it, get rid of a state. Some people are not going to want to. Some people are going to want to try to figure it out. And then some other people just won't care. So it's just, and then the people that are whatever state that does end up getting picked, they're going to feel like it's not fair. It's not fair. It's like you guys have to take this L. Sorry, bud. It's one of those, but it sucks, but yeah, it's the lesser evil, pretty much. So I get what the three of them are saying. I think it's cool. I think I get all three of them, what they said. And then we get to Tentasio. He's just like, I hate it. Stupid. These scenarios suck. Because he's not on the right side of the scenario, so to speak. He's just in this limbo state. I get it. I get all of them. Get the different points of views that were brought up. I get it. Again, do like his design. Me talking nonsense, but I think Asmodeus is the Demon King that cursed Doksha's old boss for killing one of his subjects. Okay. Is it? I don't remember if I have an image of that. I might. Hold on. I might. That would have been in... What chapter would that have been in? What's this? Oh, shit. What's this? Is it after that? It might be after that. Before this. Aha! Nah, I just have to see if I saved it. Because I definitely have images from it. Did I save it? I don't think I did. It would have been right in here. Would have been right in here. I didn't save it. That sucks. I saved the fight though. I have the fight. I just didn't save the image where the name is. Dang it. All right. So this is good. I like this. I like this chapter. I like the perspective change. I'm really stuck on that. I really did like the perspective change. I think this guy looks cool, so it helped out. And I'm curious as to how long we'll follow him. Will we flip back and forth between Tentasio and Doksho? Will we stay with this guy for a little bit? I wonder. I do wonder. I'm curious now. I am curious. I am curious. And also, one thing that I don't think I've ever thought about, I know we've mentioned it. Ow. No, we've mentioned it, but I've never really put any thought into it of Doksha knows how everything is going to end. But I think it depends on what the ending is. Like, if the ending is something that is so just outside of the realm of thinking, because we lack the proper knowledge and clues, then I don't know. But it feels like by the time we get to the ending, would we have done enough to possibly change that ending? Because Doksha was like, that's it when he got to the end. So would Doksha's inclusion and becoming a constellation and having a nebula and all of these things, would that eventually throughout the course of... That's true. He did see he's trying to change it. But I'm thinking more so from just his existence. Yeah, the original ending might not be true. I'm wondering, like, from his because the thing is the changes were happening within the first 5 chapters. The changes were already happening because, if I'm not mistaken, Namun Kim was supposed to have was supposed to have a certain constellation supporting him, but didn't. He had a completely different one supporting him. And it's like, at that point, they had only been like, they were like, Doksha was on the bus and then ended up off the bus onto the train, right? And plus, Namun was a main character in the story that Doksha eliminated at the beginning of the story. Huge change. Like, there was changes that already happened that early, just by for what reason? I don't know. I don't know. Knows the secret of the book, to how the world ended, but not the universe. That is true, because Doksha seemed to be clueless as to what was breaking through at the Constellation banquet when it was saying, like, you didn't invite us, and nothing rung a bell in his head, and they're like, you gotta go, and they just got him up out of there. So there's things that TWSA hasn't touched on, possibly. I know there's things that already have happened that's never happened in TWSA, so there's always going to be more things to learn. So Young Constellation is the one Namun was supposed to have. Edgy Dragon, as Doksha called it. Okay. Gotcha, I remember. I completely forgot until you said that Namun was supposed to be a main character. I made a big deal about it too. I remember that's back when I wasn't really in love with the series. Like, what is he thinking? I remember making a big deal about it. I do. Doksha knows a lot about probably the most Star Stream. He doesn't know it, but he doesn't know everything. Right? Knowing an ending of a story help compared to finer details and secrets of characters. I would say a lot of times I've found this. For other people, it might be the opposite. But I've found whenever you know the outcome of something that maybe you shouldn't know, usually that outcome somehow, some way ends up happening anyways. Because you're trying so hard to not let it happen that you're doing everything with unwittingly, you're doing everything to actually set yourself up to get to that point. So it's like knowing the ending. I think it helps with Doksha because he has like a rough outline. I guess you could put it that way, where like if you're writing a paper and you created an outline, you have a rough outline, you have your intro, first body, second body, third body, conclusion, you have all that stuff. You have this rough outline that you can follow. And as you get to writing, you can change some things. Some things can change around. You might come up with new things, add some things, and it might expand what that just generic just template was. So I think TWSA I can't even say from this point moving forward, because things are still happening closely or close enough to how the series went. Still close enough. Some people are showing up a little earlier than others. There might be events that have happened for Doksha now that didn't happen in the story. But so far, there haven't been anything that he wasn't able to handle. So, and it's all the scenarios are following in because they're all predetermined. So they all happen the same way. So with him having that structure of like each scenario is going to be here. Now the interconnected threads between each scenario might be different. And that's just what Doksha has to do to navigate those threads so that he can get to the next scenario with at least some semblance of the story so that he can put everything together. I think the deeper we go, there's a possibility you get to the point that the novel really isn't helping you. All the novel becomes is becomes an encyclopedia that's a couple editions out of date. It could be something like that, where characters and events might be the same, but supporting constellations, people actually participating, they might be different. So I don't know. That I think that's where it's still always going to have its use. Still always it's always going to have its use. Because from how TWSA sounds like it's written, and then we get that right there, where this guy, this pinky dude, young Paul, we never seen him, or he might be some NPC in the background somewhere in a panel or two. I don't know. Never seen this guy, but Doksha got the idea of killing an insect from this guy in the story, so he must have had some focus, right? A tiny focus, enough to it for it to be mentioned, for it to have been mentioned. But then again, this is the same story that spent how many pages describing how good the food was? So I don't know. Question before you forget. Where do you recommend read Tower of God? I want to start reading it. I don't know. I would say, would you say Webtoon? Would you say Webtoon really? I guess because it's simple, it's easy, it's free. You don't have to risk going to some website. So just go to Webtoon. You could read all the way up until current. But you'll be behind 3 months once you catch up. So, but you have a long time until then. So got like almost 600 chapters until you catch up. So yeah, Webtoon. That's where I read it from. Translation's also better. Okay. Oh man, I do know that the printed copies of the manga do just take strictly from the site. I read through about half the first volume, and so far it's been identical as far as the translations go. There's been no changes. So there's that. I think that's all I got. I'm tired. I'm tired. don't have anything else. Thank you guys. I appreciate you. I wish I could stay longer. I kind of want to stay longer, but I'm tired. I'm exhausted. So have a good one. Appreciate you again, and I'll see you guys. Peace out. Oops.